A secure way to leave. Towards the end of 1987, I started to plan a secure way for me to leave the country. My death sentence was still on me. I believe my friends who released me were delaying the issue of the review of my papers so that I could once again attempt to leave the country. On the other hand, I had become a wealthy man and would have loved to stay alive longer. Life seemed good. My wife and I now had 3 daughters, and I wanted to leave Iran and find a safe place for them to live. I needed to have my passport back and my name removed from the blacklist in the ports. I knew that only influential people could accomplish this. At that time, our city was preparing for an election. A few men who gained their legal status from the authorities announced their candidacy for the parliament and began campaigning. It was a good time for me to build a relationship with an influential follower of one of these candidates. This would pave the way for my future needs to be met. The man I chose acted as a mediator, and my passport was released to him from the revolutionary court in our city. When I was told that my name would soon be removed from the blacklist, I rejoiced. Immediately, I took measures to leave the country while the city was busy with the election. I exchanged most of my money for the US dollar. A friend from another city offered to travel with me to make sure I crossed the border into Turkey. I had $44,000. At that time, passengers had to report foreign currency written in the passport by a bank. I had $22,000 in my passport and the other $22,000 in my friend's passport. It was the beginning of 1988 when we traveled to the same border from where I was previously sent back. My friend and I were sent to one customs agent since we were traveling together. He gave his passport first and got the exit stamp. When the agent checked my passport, he informed me that I was on the blacklist and not allowed to leave. I was told my name had been removed from the blacklist, I said. I don't know about that, but as long as your name is on the blacklist, you cannot go out. As he was calling a guard to take care of me, I quickly gave all my money to my friend and said to him, "It seems to me my situation will be harder this time than the previous one. I hope the way they gave the passport to me is not a plot. Otherwise, they can accuse me of a second attempt to escape. Talk to my wife and see if she wants to take the children and leave the country. Also, tell her that she has my consent for anything she wants to do." The guard took me to the chief guard, who was not as kind as the one I'd met here a couple years before. This man was extremely rude, pointing his pistol to my head and shouting at me. He took my passport and ordered a guard to bring him the document made under my name when I was returned to my hometown in 1985. Looking at the document, he said, "A second attempt at escape? This is not a lawless country, sir. Who do you think we are? Anti-revolutionaries cannot cross the border. They must be kept inside the country and be persecuted forever for their actions against the revolution until they understand what justice is." "I do not want to cross the border illegally," I told him. "I was given my passport back and told that I was free to go out any time I liked." "Your name is on the blacklist. You should have checked this first," he shouted. "I did, sir. That's why I'm here. Could you please do me a favor and call the authorities to confirm this?" For a few minutes he said nothing. He called a guard from the next room and asked him to make a phone call and connect the phone to him when someone responded. Then he ordered me to sit on a chair. I was there without any guard beside me. Suddenly, emotions overwhelmed me and tears poured from my eyes. I whispered to myself, "Oh, my painful soul, it seems to me that there is no one to understand you." The subordinate guard reported to the chief saying, "I left a message, but no one has called back." "Wait a bit and try again," he said. 3 times the guard came to the chief guard and reported to him that there had been no response to his calls. At the end, the chief guard went to the guard's room and closed the door. After about 5 minutes, he came to me and said, "We called the revolutionary mayor, the revolutionary court of your city, and the immigration office in Tehran, but no one has responded so far. Forgive us for keeping you so long. Please go to customs, get your passport stamped, and enter Turkey. I alerted customs to stamp your passport." The sudden change in the chief's attitude shocked and astonished me. What happened that he became so obliging towards me and allowed me to cross the border with no confirmation from the authorities? Was there a supernatural hand shattering the high wall for me so that I could cross the border? Who knows? I received my passport and thanked him with bowing down and left. The distance between the chief guard's office and the customs was around 100 yards. I did not have full control over my legs because of fear and shock. I was emotionally gripped in both fear and excitement while I was walking this distance. Fear because it was not believable, and excitement because if I made it, I would be free. It was terrifying for me to turn around and look back and see whether the chief or a guard was watching me. I had learned in prison when a guard asked you to go, you had to go with all your being focused and going. You never look around. If you do, and take notice of the things around you, you may lose or be shot. I returned to the same customs agent. He stamped my passport, and I crossed the Iranian border into the Turkish immigration area. My passport was stamped by a Turkish agent too, and I entered Turkey. There, I would discover another amazing miracle.